We got a packed house in here today, and you guys really right from the opening tap, it felt like as crisp a game as you guys have played all year.
Well, we didn't do a lot of different stuff during the game. You know, we kind of just stuck with what we were doing the whole time, and that's part of what we've needed to take on identity-wise, is just polish the things that we do and make sure that we're doing them well every time. But I felt like we had two major sparks in this game. I thought in the first half, I thought when Toy Jackson came in with some of the things that we were able to do defensively. We set up a play for her to take a shot immediately when she came in. I think about 3.5 minutes to go maybe in the first half. And Toy was just a huge spark for our team coming off the bench in the first half. She really got us going at both ends of the court. And then we kind of hit a lull from about the 8 to the 4 minute mark there in the second half, that I felt like our girls were starting to play not to lose as opposed to playing to win. And Ty got a pretty good elbow sprain real early in the game, you know, our starter, Tyja Manuel. And we got Ty back in just to kind of anchor our perimeter defense, and it's just exactly what we needed. You know, I just thought she was our spark there down the stretch to get us over the hump, and then it just got us more aggressive at both ends of the floor again. Christian kept the ball in her hands a lot down the stretch offensively, which, thank you. Didn't tell you thanks for doing that yet. Asked her to do it, and she delivered. And so I love that we're starting to get to the point that our roles are becoming more and more defined, and when you got a certain weakness that you need to put that Band-Aid on, we've got girls that we can call on right now to do that. So, but I was just proud of our ladies and proud of their effort, and you know, we upset an undefeated team here in conference today, and I feel like we're capable of doing that.
Now, Coach, I know last week you were upset with some of the upperclassmen. This week, Christian, that's what I noticed late, was not necessarily with shots, but just taking control of the offense and taking control of the game. You see, it seemed to be much better this week, just in that.
Yeah, Christian wasn't I'll start to say, wasn't doing a lot for us offensively. Christian wasn't showing up statistically. I didn't feel like in the first half, but you're exactly right, David. I felt like she was gluing a lot of pieces together for us, and I was really happy with Sarah. If you didn't, nobody knew, but she's been sick for 3 days. So we just started getting oatmeal in that child. It was almost like that J.C. Bigham moment before the Tennessee game in the NCAA tournament. And I was really nervous about Courtney Doover had we not had Sarah today. So Sarah played through some stuff today, and Christian really just did what we needed her to do. You know, I thought Lex and Dorka were scoring well in the first half, and we were able to kind of build our lead off of that. Deddy had a good first half offensively. So you're exactly right. I mean, I think the upperclassmen rose to my challenge to them after our loss a week ago, and I was very pleased with them today.
You played a tough schedule, as everybody knows, but you're 2-1 in conference now. So did it really toughen you up for conference, or is it too early to tell?
You know, I think it's after a win, I'm probably like, oh yeah, it was a genius move. Yeah, we're 2-1 now. We've got so much basketball left to play, and we've got so many lessons left to learn. I felt 3 new gray hairs pop up when we kept pushing it in transition, and we had a 6-point lead, and we needed to play possession basketball the last 2.5 minutes, and they're just freshman moments, you know. But praise the Lord, we were in a situation that we needed to hang on to a lead today, you know, instead of playing from behind. So this is kind of one of our first situations to be in a close one down the stretch, to where you've got a good lead, you just got to lock it in at both ends. So it was a new lesson today that we didn't get to experience in the fall semester, but I'd much rather be learning that lesson than some of the whoopings we took in the fall with our schedule. So, but I think in the long run, I think that our players understand that if they can go, and if Christian can have 25 points at Nebraska, you know, she can step up and get a shot when she needs to against a Southland Conference team, and that's not to speak down. They're not Nebraska. So
how's it been with Christian at this point?
that's probably a really good question for Christian.
It's just different. I mean, last year I did not have the ball in my hands that much, but I feel like I'm learning a lot kind of still, because it's just, I've never been the point guard like that. So sometimes it's very frustrating when I have a bunch of turnovers, but it's getting easier. I feel like I'm getting somewhat better at it.
I go back and I watch film now, and she just has more of a comfortable look to her, you know, and that's what I really appreciate about Christian, is that kind of senior leader that she'll take on whatever role we need her to take on. You know, when I've challenged her that, hey, this is a game you've got to have 15 to 17 shot attempts, that's what she's done. Yeah. You know, put her on their best shooter tonight, and you know, she knows that's her role in man-to-man defense and stuff too. So I've been very pleased with her. Very pleased with her.
You went from shooting almost 70% in the first half to not even 30 in the second half. What was the difference in the two halves there?
You know, I'd have to, there's about an 8-minute blur in the second half that I'm going to have to go back and kind of see, on video and stuff to know also. But we were, we got a rhythm going in the first half, and in the second half, we kind of got away from some of the things that had gotten us to that point. When Deddy slows down, when Deddy makes sure she catches the ball in the right place and she pauses with it, good things come out of that. I think some of the stuff that we were doing is we were trying to press too hard for a quick shot early in the offensive possession, as opposed to letting it happen. Nobody wants to play defense, including us, for 25 to 28 seconds, and so when the shot's not readily available, we've got to find a different way to attack, and I think we were just impatient. I think we wanted to take a 10-point lead and open it up a little bit more instead of just doing what got us that 10-point lead.
I think this is kind of a neat thing that you and your sister, first time in your careers, both have at least 10 points or more scoring in a game. How do you feel about that?
On the court, she's not my sister, she's my teammate. And it was a good feeling. I was very proud of her because she did great today.
There's times, I'll comment on that too, there's times that I think there's going to be a sister connection and they're going to do like some amazing thing, and it's usually more like quit looking at your sister and find the open, so anyway.
It looked to me like the officials, for the most part, let him play a little bit, especially on the perimeter. There were a couple calls late that were questionable, but it seemed to me like your girls were the aggressor in that situation, and that's what kind of helped you guys take control of that game early. It took UCA a lot longer, it seemed, to adjust to the refs letting them play, at least on the perimeter.
I will say that as a result of how the game was called, we needed Carolina Lopez today, and she came in and gave us some great. Courtney Doover's a scary player. She's scary good. She just knows how to use her body so well, and she's such a primary factor for them. And that was one of the reasons why I sat both Deddy and Sarah out for a while, because I just knew we had to always have one of them on the floor. But Lena came in and had 5 fouls to give, and I think she only used up one of them. But she played some big minutes for us today. I think my biggest frustration is that when we come up against teams in the Southland that we're bigger than, I don't feel like my bigs get protected the way the 5'11" forwards get protected. I think Sarah and Deddy both, I thought, were in situations to have 3-point plays at times today, and I just don't feel like the protection happens the same way. Deddy's 5th foul, her 4th foul, she got called for putting hands on a screener and not pushing her, but just getting around her to get, and that's something that guards do constantly throughout the game. If the guards don't get called for it, I don't understand why the 6'3" girl has to get called for it playing perimeter defense. So, things we think about.
Christian, you guys had 5 Southland road trips last year, and you split all of them, and you're one of the few players back from that. How important is it to go get 2 wins next week and to not split?
Well, it's very important because we lost a home game last week, and we can't do that anymore. So it'll really help us if we get both next week. Mm-hmm. It's really important.
Coach, you want to comment on that?
You're going someplace for the very first time, both to Abilene Christian and to Incarnate Word. Abilene's got a very good team. They're probably similar in size to Central Arkansas today. They're playing quite a few freshmen also. They've got a very good senior shooter and I believe a sophomore point guard, and then they've got a pair of freshman twins that are 5'11" that are very active. We're going to see a lot of zone, out there in Abilene. I believe they're undefeated at home so far this year. So that's going to be an environment that we're going to be playing the only game on Thursday night there at 7 o'clock out there. So they'll have a lot of fans locally coming out, and it's a difficult situation to put Southland teams in, to go on the road for a non-Division I game. And they're a well-coached team. Coach Goodenough is a good friend, and she does a great job out there. So we'll be doing our homework and getting ready, because it'll be. I'm glad we've got that game first, actually, on the road. I think that's the one that needs our primary focus going into it, and then we'll finish up at Incarnate Word on Saturday.
Got anything else for these guys? All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.